Hey everyone, I'm doing another game review. Now, take a bit of a different approach with this review because it's a PS3 exclusive title. inFAMOUS, from the same creators of Rocket Robot on Wheels for N64 and the original Sly Cooper trilogy for the PlayStation 2. So, yeah, the story of inFAMOUS is that it revolves around Cole McGrath, who is a bike messenger in Empire City, which is basically this game's version of New York City. Alright? However, when he opens up one of the packages he's supposed to be delivering, it turns out to be a weird bomb type thing, and it explodes, taking out 5 to 6 square blocks of Empire City. I mean, hell, at the beginning of the game there's the explosion and then a car being flung at the screen, which is like the most epic way to start any game ever, by the way. So yeah, and so the game, and what that bomb was turned out to be a device called the Ray Sphere, which is designed to harness to drain the neuroelectric energy from a group of people and harness it into an individual. And so thus it gave Cole electrical powers. Alright. And it turned out to be made by a group of criminals known as the First Sons. When Cole and his buddy Zeke tries to get out of the city and fails at it, Zeke gets captured by an FBI agent named Moya who wants to help him get out of the city as long as he'll help her find her husband John, who was assigned to investigate the First Sons, who are a pretty shadowy group and whatnot. And that's basically the premise of the game. As it's very simple, but of course the most important thing about a game is the gameplay itself. So let's check it out. The gameplay is actually really fun. I mean, they're electrical powers, alright? So there's so much you can do with it, and Sucker Punch did a lot with it. Alright? I mean, not only do you get automatic powers throughout the game, lots of them when you upgrade your powers and whatnot, but you can also buy upgrades for those powers via the pod menu of this game with experience points. So yes, it's definitely an RPG style. The newer RPG styles, rather. Where there's like experience points and whatnot, but it's still a free roaming game and whatnot too. And one of the most unique things about this game is the choices you make. This is the first game I ever played that had it like this, the good karma and bad karma type thing. I'm not sure if there's other games like it or not, but yeah, this is the first game that I've ever played like it. Basically, it's like for each there's good karma and there's bad karma. The good karma gives Cole blue electricity and the bad karma gives Cole evil electricity. By doing good deeds such as healing pedestrians, saving citizens, or completing good karma side missions, Cole will get good karma. For doing stuff like killing pedestrians, blowing up vehicles, completing evil side missions, and the lot, Cole will get evil karma. And Cole's karma ranking determines what available power-ups there are, and obviously evil karma has the best power-ups, which would make sense, you know. Now, so yeah, the gameplay is really fun. You can go all over Empire City. There's a total of 3 islands. The first one is where you start out. It's called the Neon District, where you'll meet the first minor enemies, the Reapers, which are being controlled by the Conduit, Sasha. Which a Conduit's a human which can absorb the Ray Sphere's energy and gain power, which allows their powers to manifest, which is different between people. The second island, the Warren, has the minor enemy, the Dustmen, and their leader is an old conduit named Alden. And then the third and final minor enemy in the historic district are the First Sons, and their minor enemy is the main enemy of this game, Kessler. And now, this game has extremely epic storyline. See, because Kessler is actually... Should I reveal it? Oh, fuck it. This game's been out for so long already. Kessler is actually Cole, okay? Cole from the future. You see, he originally got his powers at a much later time. And however, a beast came to Empire City. At the time, Kessler could have used his powers to stop it, but instead he fled with his family, leaving others to fend for themselves. Hunted for years, Kessler and his family watched as the rest of the world went to hell. And then it was too late to do anything, basically. He basically fucked over the world. So he used his newest and most dangerous power, which was going on a one-way trip back in time, attempting to rewrite history. So he seized control of the First Sons, which was supposed to be Alden's birthright and whatnot, and accelerated the Racer's development because it was started by Richard Tate. Alden is Tate. He's Alden Tate. So yeah, so he basically got Cole his powers at a much earlier time than he normally would have. Yeah, it's actually a pretty epic storyline. And, of course, there's other stuff, too. There's side missions. There's 3 different types of side missions in this game. There's the neutral side missions, which appear yellow on the minimap. Then there's good side missions, which appear blue on the minimap. And then there's evil side missions, which appears red on the minimap. Alright, so it's kind of a nice balance there. And there's also collectibles. There's blast shards you can collect. And what blast shards are is that they are... chunks of Earth that radiated during racer testing. There's a total of like 300 some in the game, I think, and they are fucking difficult to find. I have not yet found all of them. Quite honestly, I fucking hate searching for them. And then of course there's dead drops, which when John was captured, he used dead drops to smuggle reports back to his back to the NSA, where he was actually a part of. There's a total of like 20 or 30 something in the game, I think. And they're basically in the form of satellite dishes, and whenever you collect one, you'll get a new message from John, basically. Alright, yeah, so that's basically it for that. The gameplay doesn't really go any further beyond that. As for the powers you get different things. You can get shields, you get different offensive powers such as rockets and grenades, and you get a sniper thing where you can zoom in and shoot and whatnot, and lots of other things. And it's really cool. And if you got the collector's edition of this game, which I didn't, but I do know about it, is that you can actually get the Gigawatt Blades, which I kind of wish I had them, but whatever. Anyways, that's basically it for the gameplay of this game. As for the soundtrack, this game has a really epic soundtrack, especially the ending credits song. There's I think it's called "There's a God in Me" by like I forget what the fuck's the name of that band. I don't remember, but it's epic. All right, it's awesome. It's fucking incredible, and yeah. Another thing that I like about this game is the enemies and how they level up, because there's different power levels of each minor enemy. Right? And there's different types of them. Take for example the Reapers. You have the regular Reapers, which shoot guns and hit you if they're close enough to you. But you also have rocket launcher Reapers, and I believe there's a machine gun Reapers as well, or Gatling gun or whatever. Whatnot. And then when you get to the Dustman, there's even more of them, because there's the regular Dustman, but there's the missile launcher Dustman, and there's definitely machine gun Dustman. And there's small spider creatures that they created out of trash and whatnot. And then there's giant flaming golems. Alright, and then as for the which are basically conduits. And then as for the First Sons, there's the regular First Sons, the There's a shotgun for sons that have cloaking devices. And there's the conduit for sons, which allows them to grow into giant neon monsters. I guess don't know what the fuck you'd actually call them, but yeah. And another thing is, well, actually my first complaint with this game, I have to say, is the boss fights. There's only 3 boss fights in this game, which is kind of disappointing. You fight Sasha, you fight Alden, and you fight Kessler. And Kessler's the only one with an actual health bar, so you don't know how, when you're first fighting the first 2 bosses, Sasha and Alden, you don't know how close you are to defeating them. Alright, but Kessler actually does have a health bar, which doesn't make any sense, and he's also a bitch in hyper mode. But anyways, it's really all I have to say about that. But another complaint I have with this game, I can't fucking stand it. It's the stealth. Uncharted had the same problem, but it's even worse in here. Tell me, why? Why would you have a game that gives your character electricity and then tell them not to use it? Because when you're telling them to be stealthy, that's exactly what you're doing. That's a huge problem. You don't give your player electricity and then tease them by telling them not to fucking use it. What kind of bullshit is that? I mean, okay, yeah, there's the majority of the points in the game you have to use it, but seriously, why would you tell them to be stealthy? Alright, Sucker Punch, this is not Sly Cooper. I could understand if you're... Actually, no, I couldn't. There's no way I could understand this. This is not Sly Cooper. This is Infamous. Completely different. You don't give your player electrical powers and tell them, then tease them by telling them not to use it, or you fail the mission. It's not like it's even an optional thing, like if for some reason someone wanted to be stealthy, but someone else didn't. No, it's required. Why? Why? Come on. There's no point to it at all. I don't understand that at all. It's like, it's teasing the player by giving them electrical powers, which are meant to be blowing things up and killing things non-stop. That's what electricity is meant for, as far as I'm concerned. And then you tell them they can't even use it. That is some fuck, okay? And that's definitely my biggest. And another thing that's wrong with the stealth is that, like, with a game like this, the controls are really stiff. That's the biggest problem I have with the Uncharted series as well, because they tell you to be stealthy and the controls are really stiff. They're not as fluid as, say, Sly Cooper. I know what you're thinking, it's a completely different game, so it's uncomparable, but no, it is comparable. Whenever you're asking someone to be stealthy, it's always comparable, okay? It doesn't matter what the game's like regularly. I mean, if you're asking someone to be stealthy, it's always comparable. And you don't ask someone to be stealthy in a game like this, alright? Because the controls are really stiff. Alright, say you're playing Sly Cooper. Sly 2 and 3 especially. When you start to walk, you move instantly. The controls are so fluid. And this is the PlayStation 3, not the PlayStation 2. I know that it has those capabilities, okay? But I don't know why I don't know why people keep telling people to be stealthy in games like these. It's just doesn't work. I don't know when people are gonna understand this. It just doesn't work. Okay? When you give a person electrical powers, you're basically saying you're basically telling the gamer that they're gonna be blowing stuff up in every single mission of the game. That is what you are metaphorically telling them. It's a fucking tease to make them try to be stealthy. Not to mention the tough controls and whatnot. It's fucking horseshit, okay? That's my single biggest complaint with this game, is that there's times where you have to be stealthy, and it just doesn't work. Now, that being said, I did really love this game, and you should definitely check it out. Oh, it's a great action-adventure game. Not a platformer, but it does have platforming elements, such as collecting items, which are a staple in a lot of classic platformers. Especially a lot of classic 3D platformers. It's a great PS3 title. It's exclusive, so obviously if you... That's why I never really agree with exclusive games. I'm probably going to end up doing a rant on this in the future because, like, say if you have a 360, but you think this game looks really cool, you're basically fucked. So it's a real cheese, and it's horseshit. I'll definitely be doing a rant on this in the future, most likely. But yeah, anyways, if you have a PlayStation 3, or I believe it is available on PSN as well. Well, you have to have a PS3 for that. No, never mind. But you know, or if you have a PS3 emulator, I suppose. You should definitely play this game. It's really fun. So, yeah, because I can't really think of any other well, okay, I guess that it's rather short. It's kind of a nitpicky complaint, but you know, I like to go into nitpicks as well, and it is rather short. I would have expected a bit longer of a game. Like, the only reason it took me a really long time to beat this game originally is because of how difficult it is. This game is really difficult. But especially if you play in hyper mode, like Kessler took me fucking forever to. Well, it didn't. It took me a lot of hours to beat, but not a lot of days though, because I'm a hardcore gamer, so I constantly played it until I beat it. But it took me about 10 hours straight, nonstop, to actually beat Kessler in hyper mode, which was insane. Okay, seriously, I mean, because like in all the other modes, he actually has a distinguishable pattern. He doesn't seem to in hyper mode. And I'm not complaining about that. Challenge is a really good thing. But, you know, it's just something I thought I'd point out. But, anyways, though, this is still a really great game, and you should definitely pick it up. I got it for $24.99, so basically $30, but I'm sure you can get it cheaper by now. Yeah, so I'll rate this game 8.5 out of 10. It could have definitely gotten higher if it either didn't make you be stealthy or fix the thick or tough control problem. Because that was the biggest thing with the stealth and whatnot. And if the game was a little bit longer, it would have got a bit higher as well. You know, and if there were more bosses too, because I kind of got disappointed because of how few bosses there were. So yeah. Oh, and if there were like more different varieties of minor enemies too. Yeah, anyways, I guess that's it for this review. I will be doing an inFAMOUS 2 review as well sometime, but yeah, so rate, subscribe to all the good stuff. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.